BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me, it's the first time you're seeing my face. Hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's gonna be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have a weekly wrap up. This is for July 30th through August 5th and all my reading shenanigans in between. So if you'd like to find out what I was up to this last week, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat. Let's talk in some books. Okay, so this is going to be a really short one. Last week, I didn't really get a lot completed. I started 2 books, but I am not done with them because one I'm reading for a specific discussion video, and the other one is a little bit out of my wheelhouse. But I've decided to try something new. So, the first book I have to talk about is The Witcher, which is The Last Witch by Andrzej Sapkowski, I believe that's how you say his name, and this is the illustrated edition. My husband bought me these for Christmas, and I am reading this book and will be doing a discussion video with my husband on this book. I'm currently not through it yet. I didn't get a lot of reading done this week, but I did start some stuff, and I got enough in it that I wanted to actually sit down and talk about some of these things so you kind of know what's going on, because both of these are sort of out of my normal genre of reading from what you guys have normally been seeing. I've always read stuff like this, but just not lately from what you've seen from me. But anyway, back to this book. So if you're familiar at all with the television show The Witcher starring Henry Cavill, that is actually the reason why I wanted to pick up this book and wanted a copy of it, is because I enjoyed the television show. I never played the video games, which are also based off of these books. But that's the reason I picked this book up, and I'm having a good time with it. This one is following the first season pretty fucking close. This, however, so in the actual series, on Goodreads, this is labeled as 0.5, and the next installment is actually labeled as book 1, because this is really just a collection of short stories about Geralt, kind of informing you a little bit about what he does and what a Witcher does, and kind of gives you little glimpses of background into him. But there are portions that you see that really nothing significant is happening. But if you've seen the show, you know that those little parts that really nothing's happening, they are building up to the actual main storyline of the series. But, you know, the events are followed pretty closely in the show, and I'm not going to try to compare the books to the show because it's already been done. And to be perfectly honest, I don't really care about doing that, to be perfectly honest. But what I have noticed, and one glaring thing that I have noticed, is that in the show, Geralt doesn't talk a lot. He never shuts the fuck up. Never shuts the fuck up. Geralt is our main protagonist. He's our Witcher, which is, I want to say they're not immortal, but they are, but because they're not immortal, they can be killed, but they have been mutated. They were normal at one point in time, and then they took this potion that basically mutated their person, and now they are somewhat magical beings if they take this potion, because they've kind of become immune to it, and they have extrasensory powers and things of that nature. But you don't really get a lot of description of what a Witcher actually is. And truth be told, I'm about halfway through, and I still, if I had not watched the show The Witcher, still have no idea what a Witcher really is based off of this book, except they kill monsters, they take money for killing monsters, and nobody really likes them. Like, that's the main synopsis I've gotten so far. But again, these are short stories. Just kind of talking about some of Geralt's conquests and monster killings. We got to see the Striga in action. I got to see that storyline. I'm about to see why he's called the Massacre of Blaviken, I think is his title. Don't quote me on that. It's something of Blaviken. So I'm there now, and we met a major wizard, Strigobor, which I know is a major player because I've seen the show. So, but if I hadn't seen the show, I wouldn't really think he was a major player in the story yet. But It's a good time. It's unique. I'm really anxious to see how this discussion video with my husband's gonna go because we read books completely different. I read books for enjoyment, which we both do. But then when I read a book, I start to analyze it and break it down. He never does that. So this discussion's gonna be, it's gonna be interesting, guys. It's gonna be interesting. I have really no idea what to expect with it. So, but I'm gonna continue working on it. I am enjoying it so far. I will admit that it is hard to separate the show from the book at times because I'm sitting here, I'm like, I don't remember this in the show. I remember this being at this point, not at this point, and Geralt is a lot more chattier in this book. Like, he's funny in this book. And don't get me wrong, Henry Cavill had some good moments in The Witcher, but it was towards when he started talking more. The first season, he doesn't really say a lot. It's just, fuck. Like, that's what he does. This, he never shuts the fuck up in. So that's my big main standout thing right now with this. But I am having a good time, and the description of Geralt, believe it or not, that's the craziest part. That's another crazy thing, is the physical description on point, fantastic. But there's no description of his voice, and his voice is so iconic. Like, even from the video game, it's an iconic deep growl, and there's really no description of what his voice really sounds like. So I find that really, really interesting. So this will be fun to experience and continue experiencing for sure. I don't really have anything to say about it right now because I want to reserve all of my ideas and my notes for that discussion video with my husband. But yeah, it's definitely unique. It's definitely different for me. It's taking me out of my normal wheelhouse. I do like fantasy, but out of my three main genre, fantasies tend to be the one I at least grab for the most. I grab for the least, I'm sorry. So we'll see. But so far I am having a good time with it. Beast of Blaviken, I think is what his actual name is. The Beast of Blaviken. I think that's the actual name, but we'll see. We will see. And the next book that I started is actually an audiobook. And this is definitely out of my wheelhouse. I read this genre, but not to the extent to say that like I, read it all the time. This is definitely one of those things where I just randomly pick up every once in a while because it seems interesting or this one specific book caught my eye or I was definitely feeling it. And this book popped up on my Audible recommended to you. And I was like, I don't understand how this is being recommended to me. Like, I don't understand how this is. But the synopsis sounded kind of cool. And it is Give Me Flesh, I'll Bring Hell by Martin Rose. This is a horror novel. It is an audiobook done by Christian Rummel, and I love this man's voice. Ooh, I like his voice. Right now, I am definitely on the lookout for some more of his stuff. I would like to find out if he does any romance books because I'd love to hear this man give a sex scene. It's pretty nice, guys. It's pretty fucking nice. And, like, I'm sitting here listening to, like, graphic horror violence, and I'm like, man, what would you sound like in a sex scene? That makes me pause. So I'm like, oh, okay, I have to stop here for a second. What the fuck's wrong with me? But it's fine. Anyway, this does feature some graphic gore and violence as it is the horror genre. We also feature an undead protagonist. I don't want to say zombie because he does not like being referred to as a zombie. And there's a big whole section about why he's not a zombie in this book. There's a whole fucking section about it. And I feel like the way it's going down, we might see some necrophilia or at least allude to necrophilia. If, an undead person having sex with a live person, but the undead person has conscious memory and conscious, thought. Is it still necrophilia at that point? I don't really quite know. So I just said partial necrophilia, but it's not guaranteed yet. It just feels like it's going down that road. Or maybe I've just been reading too many dark romance novels. I don't know. But so quick summary, we follow Vitus Adamson. He is a detective, an undead detective. He suffered a experiment in the army, and he was given a virus X, and essentially virus X killed him, but didn't kill him, just made him undead. Kind of like, the World War Z virus where they all look like zombies, but they weren't actually like true undead. Except this guy can still function. He has some zombie-style fugue states which happen in his earlier days, which we get flashbacks of. And we learn that he killed his wife and son, which makes this really, really confusing when this couple comes to his front door and shows them a picture of their missing son, and their missing son is a dead ringer for his son that died 10 years ago, that he killed. Bum, bum, bum. Like, what? Okay, crazy. And then there's also this mortician lady named Nico. She's described as looking like a Betty Page kind of chick, and she's kind of got a thing for Vitus. There's like some flirtation going back and forth. That's where I feel like the necrophilia element's gonna go in. But the opening scene of this book is literally him brushing his teeth, because zombies take care of their teeth. The undead, the way they're referred to, he's referred to in this book is the pre-deceased. That is what he said. The pre-deceased detective. And I'm like, pre-deceased? What? All right. Does that just mean you're alive? Like, I didn't quite understand that word choice, but hey, it's a fun time right now, guys. It's definitely unique. This opening scene is him brushing his teeth and his jaw falls off. And it's described in graphic detail of his jaw falling off and his tongue just rolling out and just slobber everywhere, and he has to get it wired back in. And you hear the clicking of the jaw wiring back shut, and then it works. And it's really graphic stuff, guys. Really graphic stuff. And he's not scared of anything. Like, he's really not scared of anything, and nothing can kill him except flies. He has an extreme fear of flies because flies can lay maggots, and maggots will destroy his already dying vessel of a body. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a definitely unique take on zombies, which I am not a zombie girl by any choice, shape, or form. I'm not really big into zombies. I don't really give a fuck about zombies. So this is really unique and kind of fun for me. But the audiobook's really fun so far. I'm having a good time with it. Definitely something different and kind of refreshing. Sometimes you just need to throw some different stuff at you to kind of break your mold. And I feel like now that I'm coming back out of that reading slump, something different is definitely piquing my interest, and I'm excited about it. I'm having a good time with it. It sounds really fun, and the narrator's voice is fucking sexy, so pre-deceased detective it is, who has a jaw that's now wired shut because it fell off. Yep. And the man still smokes, because what else is gonna fucking kill him? I thought it was comical. There's a lot of dry humor in this, and I do like a good dry humor story once in a while. So it's a good time. So both books I'm working on this week, definitely interesting to say the least. But that is all I worked on last week. It was a slow week for reading because I had a lot of stuff to get done and organized for the month because there's so much stuff going on this month. But I do have a mini book haul that I got over Amazon Prime Days, so I thought I'd share it with you. And I also got my Book of the Month books in from last month that I haven't shared with you guys, so I thought I'd share those with you as well. I only got 2 books on Amazon Prime Day because I just went through books, whichever one was on Amazon Prime I picked up, and I got these for a steal. I got T.L. Swan's The Stopover, which is the first installment in the Miles High Club. Like, who doesn't love a good Mile High romance? I've heard really good things about this series, so I was excited to pick it up. And when I was on Amazon Prime, I was like, why the fuck not? Went through my wish list. Whatever books were listed as Amazon Prime Days, I just picked them up. And there were only 2, and the second one was King of Wrath by Anna Huang. This has been all over Book Talk and Bookstagram, and I wanted to give it a shot because why the fuck not? I mean, some of these have been very promising for me. So I'm interested, and I've seen a lot of my favorite booktubers read this book and speak highly of it, so party. And my Book of the Month picks for July came in, and I picked Chloe Gong's Immortal Longings. This one follows... every year, thousands in the Kingdom of Talon will flock to its capital, Twin Cities, Son-Air, where the palace hosts a set of games. For those confident enough in their ability to jump between bodies, there's a fight to the death across Son-Air for the chance to win unimaginable riches. Princess Kala Telemi lurks in hiding. 5 years ago, a massacre left her parents dead and the place of Air empty, and she was the one who did it. Before her uncle King Kasa and his forces in San can catch her, she plans to finish the job and bring down the monarchy. The king always greets the victor of the games, so if she wins, she gets an opportunity to kill him at last. Enter Anton Makusa, an exiled aristocrat. His childhood love has lain in the coma since they were both ousted from the palace, and he's deep in debt trying to keep her alive. Thankfully, he's one of the best jumpers in the kingdom, flitting from body to body at will. His last chance of saving her is entering the games and winning. Calla finds both an unexpected alliance with Anton, I guess how you pronounce it, probably, I'm not quite for sure. Anton and help from King Kasa's adopted son, August Shenzai, who wants to mend Talon's ills. But the three of them have very different goals, even as Calla and Anton's partnership spirals into something all-consuming. Before the games close, Calla must decide what she's playing for, her lover or her kingdom. Sounds cool. Jumping from body to body. Body snatchers, like that sounds like a good time. This was an add-on for me. This was not the actual book of the month that I picked for July. This is just an add-on, but it sounded really, really interesting and kind of something different. Like I said, every once in a while you want some books that are not of your normal wheelhouse, just to kind of take you out of yourself every once in a while. At least that works for me. I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while I need to read something that's not of my normal genre, not of my normal feeling, like either a translated work or an author who has a completely different viewpoint than anything I've ever experienced, or just something completely out of the blue that just, there's one minute thing that kind of calls to me and I go with it and have a good time. Like sometimes I need those pieces to just take me out and kind of just be, like a palate cleanser almost, a palate cleanser. And I feel like that could be a good palate cleanser for me. The book, however, I did pick for book of the month of July was Marie Benedict's and Victoria Christopher Murray's The First Ladies. I am not going to not pick a First Lady book. I mean, this is First Lady Reads, people. It's First Lady Reads. I'm going to pick books about First Ladies. I mean, that's a no-brainer. This one, however, is about following Eleanor Roosevelt. That is the First Lady that we get to encounter in this one, and her friend Mary. I don't remember what Mary's name is. Hold on, let me find out. Mary McLeod Bethune, a civil rights activist. So we have Eleanor Roosevelt and a civil rights activist forming a friendship and kind of the backlash involved with that. Sounds awesome. Sounds right up Jackie's alley. I love First Lady history. I love history. So I think I'm going to have a good time with this. I think this was a no-brainer that I'm going to have a good time with it. But that's what I got for you guys. Like I said, it's a short one. Not a lot of exciting stuff has been happening, but I am halfway through my Martin Rose book. I'm about halfway through the Witcher book. So I should have more to talk about next week. And do keep eyes peeled for my negative reviews of my favorite books video. It will be up this week. That was the video that was chosen on my poll on my community tab. I'm really excited about that one. I'm thinking about like 5 to 6 of my favorite books and reading like maybe 2 or 3 reviews of each one of them. I haven't quite decided exactly how I'm going to do it, but it's going to be happening this week. And then I also asked on my community tab for some of your favorite recommendations, favorite books of the year so far. So keep your eyes peeled because there's a special video going along with that. I didn't just ask that out of the blue for no reason. Although I love everybody's answers, but I have a special video planned for that and it's getting set up and I need to film it, and it involves a little bit more editing than what I normally do in videos. So you will see it, but that's the reason for that. So I didn't just randomly ask that and did nothing with it. So yeah, but that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys all soon with another video. Bye, guys.